Something about the cold, though, it just makes me want to hibernate. I'm at the point, though, I will say, where that cabin fever is starting to kick in. And so that is when I know it is time to start planning for spring. Welcome to Off the Memory Card, the podcast where photographers talk about everything but taking photos, because photography is only 10% photos and 90% building a life and business you love. I'm Kathleen Burns. Let's dive in. Does anyone else feel like this has been the longest winter in the history of ever? I am not a cold weather person. I do enjoy it through the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. But after January 1st, I'm done. Stick a fork in me. We just celebrated Valentine's Day this past weekend, so that means we're a little more than halfway through February, and we have had more snow and frigid temperatures this winter than we have had in a very long time. Now, I do kind of enjoy the slow season aspect of it all, because October, November, even into part of December, we go 100 miles per hour, barely coming up for air. After all of that fall and holiday photography madness, it is nice to take a break. Now, I know most of us can't completely stop working because there are bills to pay. Many photographers will supplement their income with Valentine sessions. For me, it is headshots. I don't know what it is about January and February, but that does seem to be when a lot of companies are reaching out asking for those updated headshots and promotional sessions. So that's what I've been doing a lot of lately. Not always the most exciting work, but I do get to meet new people, and I rarely have to take my camera outside the studio, which is nice because, again, I do not like the cold. Now, when it's nice out, I have all the energy and ambition in the world. Something about the cold, though, it just makes me want to hibernate. I'm at the point, though, I will say, where that cabin fever is starting to kick in. And so that is when I know it is time to start planning for spring. So I think it's time that we shake off the winter blues, the winter slowdown, and shift our mindset from rest to momentum. If you start now, you can sort of ease your way in and not be rushing to get everything planned, booked, and ready. Because even though that warmer weather still seems like a lifetime away, your clients are already thinking about it. They're already looking at their calendars, filling in the blanks. And if you wait too long to get on those calendars, you are leaving money on the table. But before we look ahead, let's take a look back. If you have been at this for a little more than a year, it's important to do a review of last spring. What worked, what didn't, what can you improve on? Was there something successful that you can build on? Maybe you did something special or unique for your Easter sessions that people absolutely loved. Is there a way you can do that again, but make it even better? Also, do a little assessment of your pricing. Should you raise your price? If so, by how much? If your quality has improved and your clientele has grown, those are both good signs to bump up your prices. It's also good to look at the workload. Are you able to add more sessions, or do you feel like the workload was already too much to handle? Now, if that is the case, you definitely need to raise your prices. That way you can do fewer sessions and still make good money. And finally, did you give yourself enough editing time? One thing I learned a long time ago is to block off time on your schedule for editing. Anytime I offer weekend mini sessions, I don't allow people to book regular sessions on the following Monday. In fact, I try not to book anything on those Mondays other than dropping my kid off at school and picking him up. Now, that's what works for me. It may look a little different for you as far as what time of the week you block off, but the point is to make sure you are carving out time for editing your sessions, not just shooting them. Okay, now we can look forward. Let's start with the types of sessions that you're wanting to do. Are you wanting to do more full sessions, or do you find mini sessions work well for you? Now, there's no right or wrong answer here. Maybe your schedule only allows you to shoot 1 or 2 days a week. And if that's the case, then mini session marathons may be a good option. If you are someone who is able to charge a lot for your regular sessions, like maybe you're doing in-person sales, then regular sessions might be a better fit. Now, for me, it is a mixture. I am blessed to be able to do this full time. So my schedule will allow me to do regular sessions during the week. And then if I want to do seasonal or themed mini sessions, I can do those on the weekend. So let's talk about ideas. There are 3 types of sessions that I personally offer every spring that do very well: Easter, Mother's Day, and cap and gown sessions for seniors. There are a ton, I mean a ton of other ideas and options out there. These are just the ones that my clients look forward to, and I know that they're going to book well. But feel free to experiment with other ideas. Look at your clients. What are their interests? If you have a lot of families with small children, try things geared toward them, like superhero or princess mini sessions. And once you decide what sessions you'll be offering, then it's time to look at locations and themes. I always do our Easter and Mother's Day minis in the studio. Spring weather is so unpredictable, and that is one less thing for me to worry about. But I haven't always had a studio, so I did used to offer them outside. I will say, just to make sure you have a backup plan, a backup date, in case Mother Nature decides not to cooperate. When it comes to locations, think of places that photograph well in the spring. Maybe there's a spot you shot last spring that really stands out, and make sure it's available on the date you're planning for, and that you choose a date that works for many of your clients. For my senior cap and gown sessions, I try to choose a date that doesn't interfere with prom and or graduation ceremonies. I usually do them at the state capitol, so I also try to choose a date when I know there aren't any big events planned at the capitol. For my studio sets, I like to have a theme. In the spring, I've done boho, the farm look, flower gardens. It's just nice to switch it up each year and keep things fresh. Now, if you have not already ordered any backdrops or props that you'll need, do it now. It is important to go ahead and take those promotional pics so that you can show them off during your booking process. Speaking of the booking process, this part is so important. So listen up. A couple of episodes ago, I talked about the importance of having a booking system. This is especially true for mini sessions. Please, please, please do not try to do all of this manually. You will 100% drive yourself crazy. Now, if juggling lots of conversations via email, text, social media, etc., answering the same questions over and over, trying to get everyone in a spot that works well with their schedule, and hassling everyone to get those deposits in. Now, if all of that sounds like a good time to you, by all means, do it manually. But if you want to sit back and enjoy your morning coffee in peace while watching your minis fill up without having to do any of that heavy lifting, then you want to invest into some booking software. It is the greatest decision I have ever made as a business owner. Now, as I mentioned in that previous episode, I use Session. Lots of options out there, but if you do want to give it a shot with a free trial, I do have a link for you in the show notes. Now, once your clients book, make sure you set expectations and stay in communication with them. Your booking software can do all of this automatically by sending confirmation and reminder emails. You write them one time and basically set it and forget it. Clients will automatically receive them after booking and then before their session. Now, you can make the experience even better by having them do a quick 1-minute questionnaire when booking. I do this with every type of session. If you know certain things in advance, then it's one less thing you have to worry about later. For example, I always ask the question if they're okay with us sharing their images on social media. A lot of people aren't these days, and I totally respect that. And by knowing this information in advance, I'm not asking them during their session or forgetting and then having to ask them and send them a message later about it. It's little things like this that can save you a ton of time in the long run. Now, I do want to quickly touch on payments. I mentioned having them pay a deposit at booking. Make sure you are crystal clear about whether or not that deposit is refundable or transferable. Ours are non-refundable, and honestly, I am pretty strict about that. In the past, I have allowed people to transfer their deposit to another session when something unavoidable happens, like a sick kiddo or if there is a true emergency. But honestly, that's pretty rare. Once someone has invested and they know they're not getting that money back, there's a very good chance that they won't cancel. As for the balance they owe, you can either have them pay before their session via your booking software, or you can collect it in person. If you are a one-person show, I would recommend getting that payment in advance because you are going to be so busy on the day of your mini sessions, and that's one less thing to stress about. And to wrap all of this up with a pretty little bow, when and how should you promote your minis? For spring, the answer is now. Now, some photographers actually started this weeks ago. I do like to start right after Valentine's Day, personal preference. But the one thing you do not want to do is wait until spring is here and then suddenly you're trying to fill those spots. You should absolutely promote them on social media, but that should not be your only strategy. The way the algorithm works, only a small percentage of your clients will even know they're happening. Make sure you are reaching out to your clients directly. Now, you may be thinking, how in the world do I do that? If you have not already been collecting your clients' email addresses, consider this your cue to start. This is another thing that booking software will do for you. Every time someone books a session, it puts their email address into your system. This way you can send one email to everyone on your list when you want to promote something. And I have tested this. I posted about some mini sessions on Facebook and literally got like 2 to 3 bookings. The next day I sent an email, and by the end of the day, every spot was full. And I've had other photographers try this as well, and they were also pleasantly shocked by the results. So hopefully you now feel the pressure to start planning for spring, and more importantly, I hope you feel more prepared. If mini sessions is something you would like to dive deeper into, I do have a mini course that covers everything we just talked about in more detail. It is called Mini Sessions Made Simple. So if this episode feels like a checklist, the course is the walkthrough. Today I've given you the what, the course gives you the how. It is 3 modules: planning, booking, and then session day and delivery. It is $37. So if you would like to check it out, the link is in the show notes. So do me a favor and take action this week, even if it is just choosing that location or backdrop. In fact, if any of what we just talked about overwhelms you, this is your permission to start small. Maybe you only offer 1 set this upcoming spring, and that is more than okay. Maybe it seems messy and will be a great learning experience, but progress is always greater than perfection. So the key is to just do it, just get started. Thank you yet again for sticking with me. If this episode motivated you or helped you in any way, consider leaving me a review. It will help this podcast spread and help other photographers just like you. I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to Off the Memory Card. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you'd like some more support on your photography journey, head over to usethatcamera.com.